I felt like I was a 20 something, just floating in love, so giddy, so happy, because this man that I was head over in heels with asked me to marry him. And I was planning the wedding celebration that just captured everything that we felt between us. And we were especially in awe because we had found love in our 50s. Now, today's video is going to be a little bit different. I want to share a story with you, and I want to capture what it's like to give yourself to your spouse 100%. So back to my wedding planning. As it turns out, both of my daughters and myself were all engaged at the same time. I would have never planned that. I would have never imagined it, but I just believe it was God's way of bringing sweetness to this time of transition in my life. But because my daughters were all talking about flowers and caterers and venues and photographers, I mean, everything. It's like every time we got together for coffee or we're chatting, then we're going, okay, well, who did you check on and who did you check on? It was so much fun. And I think I was just caught up in this overflow. It was healing. It was restoring. It was beautiful. It was amazing. And out of that place, I did something a little bit out of my comfort zone. I asked my fiance if he would do a wedding dance with me. Ooh, and you know what? He said yes. So half the battle solved, right? Except if you're choosing to do a wedding dance, there's something really important you must have, and that is a wedding song. And I'm like, did we have a song? What was meaningful? Well, this is back over 10 years ago, and John Legend's song, All of Me, all of me loves all of you. That was really popular, and the lyrics caught my attention. This was an amazing sentiment, and I pondered, could it be real? Could we really experience that kind of love? Well, I had about 1,000 times to listen to the song because, yes, we chose that. Oh my gosh, we went to a wedding dance choreographer, weekly, practice the steps. I have a significant dance background, so I could kind of lead or nudge or remind right there on the dance floor. It was an absolute ball. And yes, we did that dance at our wedding. I think we surprised a few people. I hope it was a surprise in a good way. But that song stuck with me, and I thought about when you love someone so much that you want to give all of yourself and you want to see all of them. Wow, that's a heck of a lot of vulnerability and trust. How do you make it happen? What are the best reasons to make it happen? So I want to talk for just a minute about vulnerability and trust. I think these things are missing in marriages. I think many couples, just like me, get all excited with the planning, with the wedding, and then put the brakes on because, everything is not romance. And you are not in agreement 100% of the time. What do you do then? So what does it look like to be vulnerable and to have trust in your marriage? Well, I want to tell you, it's easier. Number one, it's easier if you believe in yourself. Because if you're going into this, oh no, can I put myself out there? Can I not? Because you really can't have second guessing. So the stronger your confidence is, the easier it's going to be for you to be vulnerable and for you to trust. And I absolutely believe that the best way to get there is to see yourself the way God does, because when your identity it is resting on His value for you, woo, 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 then the sky's the limit. That's just a place. It's limitless. There you go. It's limitless. That's how you can grow. Number two, what do we need to know about vulnerability and trust? Well, you have to figure out, what is my goal for doing this? If you've never seen it, if you've never experienced it, if you see something in the media, movies, whatever, and you're like, oh, they just look like they're so in sync. Well, you have to know the why and what your goal is. Because if you are doing it because you are desperate to be seen, to be known, to be loved, well, that ends up being a selfish motivation. And as we already mentioned, it's so much better when you are going to God for those needs and when you are believing in yourself. So I hope that your real goal and motivation for doing this is that you want more connection and you want to sustain this sweet place of being in oneness, being united, unified, having that bond. What's the third thing you need to know about vulnerability and trust? It requires you, we've already talked about believing in yourself, so it requires you to believe in your spouse. You know, they aren't growing the same way in the same things that you are at the same time. So you're going to believe the best in them, and that covers them when the moments then, hey, they are not at their best. You want to see that there is a treasure in them, and you want to expect it not in a way of, well, I'm just going to walk away if they're not showing up. No, no, no. You just want to know, I believe the best in you. I know God has made you to be an amazing person, and I'm going to walk with you and encourage you. And when you see your spouse doing something amazing, please praise them, because that encourages them. And then that brings about more vulnerability and more trust and more connection, because a connected marriage is just how you want to do it. Now, this may be confusing. You may be like, oh, great idea. What on earth do I do with that? So I want to tell you, I have a Love Connections marriage program, and we unpack 10 tools. And actually, all of me is tool number 6. It is going to be a great foundation to strengthen your marriage. We talk about conflict resolution and communication that draws you closer. We talk about how to have great intimacy, including sexual intimacy, in ways that you have integrity, ways that you build in mutual respect, and want everybody to be, well, just you and your spouse, everybody, but to be fulfilled and just enjoying that. So everything that you need to have that connected marriage, we unpack in the Love Connections marriage program. You can look in the links below and have all the details for that. But thanks so much for joining me today. And remember that God's design for a thriving marriage is for you to live in connection in spirit, soul, and body.